new Digimon starter decks are out, featuring characters from the online webcomic Digimon Liberator. And I am here to open them up and show you how they work. Today we're going to be talking about the yellow starter deck. There's also a green starter deck that I'll be talking about in a different video. My name's Blake. I'm from Blake and Spencer Get Jumped, a weekly anime podcast, and I'm trying out some card game content on our YouTube channel. If you like this stuff, let me know. I have been opening Magic the Gathering packs of Bloomborough. If you like that, or if you're interested, check that out. Comment. If you're curious about Digimon, I'd love to talk about the game sometime. I think it's a great card game. Very, very accessible if you've played Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, anything like that. But it has some really interesting differences in the way that it's designed that give it a really different, fresh feel. So this deck comes with a bunch of different cards. You're going to get these types of cards are all the different types of cards you can get in the game. You have your Digimon, that's your main creatures. You have Digi-Eggs, that is smaller creatures that enter a specified zone and help you play your bigger creatures. Tamers are your sort of enchantment planeswalker type of cards, if we're using Magic terminology. And options are going to be your sorcery cards. They're not really instants in this game. There is a relatively new card type called Ace, which is a Digimon card type, so it's sort of like a creature with flash, essentially. But for the most part, this game is a little bit about building up boards that react with on-board abilities rather than surprise hand abilities. This starter deck and the other starter deck are going to come with a couple of things. So that's going to be listed here in this black box. I'm not going to move my camera because it took too long to set it up. So I will just read to you. You get a ready-to-play 54 card deck. That is because Digimon decks are 50 card decks. And then there is a 5 card maximum egg deck, which is where your Digi-Egg cards live. And generally speaking, I believe so far every single pre-made deck product comes with a 4-card egg deck made up of 4 copies of a single card. So you have sort of cohesion there. This also comes with 6 promo cards. The very first decks that I bought for the Digimon card game were I think number 7 and 8, somewhere around there. And they included 6 promo cards as well. I believe they were the first ones to do so, and these may be the next ones to do so. This also includes a play sheet, and then 3 index cards. The index cards are just sort of like how to play stuff. Worth noting, I've already opened this, so this is not going to be a first time open. However, I did put it back in the box relatively similarly to how I took it out. So I'm going to just go through the cards and kind of explain what the deck is up to here. Also, it's worth noting, I am a casual Digimon fan, so, forgive me if I get some of this stuff wrong. I'm really doing this to show off this deck to people that are interested and or to kind of pique the interest of people who might have a passing fancy in learning a new card game or learning the Digimon card game specifically. All right, here we go. Yeah, contents have definitely shifted. Here we go. And I got stuck on something. Oh no! My playmat got ripped. Alright, well it comes to the playmat. This will help me explain a little bit about the game. So, the thing... There are a couple of things about Digimon that I think make it really special. And one of them is how you build your cards. So your Digimon are going to they're going to look like this. This is an egg card. You can also get non-egg cards like this. They're awfully similar, except this guy has a couple of abilities, so he's going to be more useful for this. So Digimon cards have, not always, as you can see here, but they can have text up here, this is the ability that this card has while it's on the field as this Digimon. But if you know anything about the Digimon world, Digimon can evolve from different levels. In this game, represented here, these baby Digimon are level 2. This is your rookie or child Digimon at level 3, and it goes all the way up to level 7. So while this is a level 3 Digimon, Junkmon will have this ability. However, when you evolve it, let's go find a level 4. Let's say you're going to evolve Junkmon. You would place this card like so. Your level 4 would now be what this card is. Like this is fine as well. It has this ability because now this is the face card. This ability is no longer active. However, you'll notice these guys have a different box below their name where there is a different ability. This ability is turned on when this is not the face card. So as an evolution source, this becomes an ability. It's possible for this ability and the face ability to be the same. So you're just passing it on, although I have not found that to be super common. But this is one of the things I love about the Digimon card game, is that each time you go up in a level, you have the opportunity to sort of build a monster to your specifications. Now, of course, cards that are supposed to go together will have complementary abilities, and you'll kind of get the idea like, hey, these are going to stack on top of each other, or they're going to complement each other. But I love the fact that you can sort of find different avenues to create your ideal creature through the course of building up the monster during gameplay. That's one thing that I really like about Digimon that I think sets it apart. The other thing is the mana system, or you could argue lack thereof. So there are no cards, there are no land cards. You do not turn a card from your hand into a resource like in Lorcana. And you don't need to charge up your attacks or anything like in the Pokemon card game. But it's not a semi-total free-for-all like in Yu-Gi-Oh! In this, you have memory, and this memory system is represented up here. This is, I think, the most exciting and, in some ways, elegant design space that the Digimon card game has. One of the things that sets it apart. I did some research when this game first came out, and it sounds like a system like this has existed in the card game that I don't think took off here. But for the most part, lots of games, I mean, look at Lorcana as our new hotness. They are taking Magic's mana system and iterating on it. This is doing something totally new. So you've got 10 points for player 1, and you've got 10 points for player 2. You cannot go past 10, but as long as the points are on your side, it's your turn. You can go all the way down to 0, and it's your turn. You can choose to pass your turn, but if you've got memory to play something, you can play it on your turn, and your turn continues until the amount of memory you've spent goes over here. So if I have 3 memory, which is relatively common, lots of things will set you to 3, even if you don't get there at first. I can play anything from my hand that costs 3 or less, and it'll still be my turn. If I play something while I have 3 memory that costs 5, then it'll go to my opponent's turn, and they will have 2 memory. And so there's this interesting tug-of-war, push-pull that is involved here in the Digimon card game that I find really fun, really fascinating. And that, alongside with the sort of like building your monster into a Build-A-Beast stack, is a really fun combination of things. The last thing that sets it apart from the big 3 card games, and I would include Lorcana as our new upstart 4th card game. All of those are dealing with some type of points. I guess Pokemon. Actually, this is in the realm of Pokemon. So Yu-Gi-Oh! and Magic, your opponent has an amount of life. You are trying to reduce that life to 0. Lorcana, you have an amount of lore that you are trying to attain. So in Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, you're trying to knock out your opponent or opponents by defeating them down to 0, taking out your opponents one by one until you're the last one standing. In Lorcana, you are racing to be the first one to attain a certain points threshold to become the winner that way. So you're not defeating your opponents by taking them out, you're just defeating them by beating them to the goal. In Pokemon, you are defeating your opponent by taking them out, but you're sort of tracking your victory conditions not on an amount of points that you've done to them, but on an amount of knockouts that you've done to them. So there are obviously exceptions to this. Some Pokemon give you more than one knockout point, essentially. But in Pokemon, you set aside cards from your deck into a special prize area. When you knock out an opponent's Pokemon, you take one of your prizes. And when you don't have any more prizes in that area, you have won. Digimon is like that, except you're trying to break your opponent's prizes or your opponent's security. So they start off with 5 security cards. You have to attack them to remove their security cards. Those security cards are taken from the top of the deck after you have settled on your starting hand. And unlike prizes in Pokemon, they don't necessarily go into your hand. They can have abilities when they are revealed from your security to put them into your hand or even directly into play. But they do have interactions as part of your security. And when you attack your opponent's security, you check to see what the card is there, what effects it might have, or if it is a Digimon card, whether or not your Digimon can survive that security. And once your opponent has no security, you have to defeat them by attacking them while they have no security. So I really like that system. Again, it's similar to Pokemon, but if you've seen my other videos, you know that I'm not a huge fan of the rules of the Pokemon trading card game. I'm looking forward to the new app that's coming out, but that's just because I want to have like a quick way to interact with a card game. But I think this security stack thing is a little bit more fun version of the prize system. I have a lot of qualms with that. I also really love that it sort of gives a different flow of how battles go. There is a surprise element that's really fun that you can take into account while you're choosing your attacks, or even while you're making your deck. All right, this is not supposed to be a how to play Digimon card game, but I haven't made a Digimon card game video yet, and I didn't want to get into talking about the cards in this deck without bringing that up first, because I think some basics are going to be helpful. So we're going to go through the deck. There's going to be a lot of 4-ofs or 2-ofs in the deck, so it shouldn't take too long, but strap in for a little bit. Our egg is Kiaromon. So these are going to hatch into a specific area called the breeding area. They are not in play, which is the battle area. They're in a sort of like secluded zone of play. When they're level 2, they can't exist in the battle area. If they would be made to exist in the battle area, they would be deleted instead. So they are just here to sort of facilitate you evolving into your bigger things and to give you these little activated or inherited abilities. So the inherited effect is when you attack once per turn, if you have another Digimon, you draw 1 card from your deck. Really nice standard advantage mechanic. And as you'll see as we go through this deck wants you to have multiple Digimon on the board and has ways to create Digimon when you don't have any. So our first rookie, level 3, costs 3 and 0. This is why these guys come in, because the top card is the play cost, and the bottom cost is the Digivolve cost. So you get to play it for cheaper if you're putting it out on this Kiaromon. So for my example earlier, if I had 3 memory, I could play this straight onto the field as is, or I could play it for free onto my little guy in the breeding area and have 3 memory left over to do with whatever I wanted. So this has a decoy ability. Let me get this closer to the sorry if this has been out of focus. So decoy for puppet trait, which this does have the puppet trait listed there. When your opponent's effects would delete any of your Digimon that have the puppet trait, you can delete this one instead. Then, when you evolve, and this is in the evolution, it has barrier. When this Digimon would be deleted by battle, by trashing your top security card, it isn't deleted. It's a bit of a risk reward, but if you're saying, I want the creature on my field more than I want to be that one card closer to you losing, I can keep my creature. Now, as a reminder, this decoy ability is what happens when Junkmon is on the field as the top card of its evolution stack. So if you play it from your hand and it's the only thing in its stack, it has decoy. If you evolve it onto Kiaromon, then you've got this stack of 2 cards. Then it has decoy. It does not have the barrier ability until you evolve it into something else. So Kiaromon's going to be over there. Junkmon's over here. Junkmon is really a utility mon in this deck. Your main thing that you're hoping to evolve your Kiaramon into is one of your signature Digimon. You might have seen it on the box. It's a brand new Digimon design made for this comic series that has spawned this deck. It's called Shumon. It's also a puppet. When you play it, you do reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You add 1 card with the puppet trait and 1 card with the liberator trait from among them into your hand. Return the rest to the bottom of your deck. So this is a puppet, and this is a puppet. This is a liberator. This is not. So this is going to search up a couple of cards in your deck, but it's not going to hit for everything. However, I think most or all of the Digimon cards in this deck are going to be puppets, and some of them are going to be liberators. So you're almost always going to get 1 card off of this from the top 3, and you are frequently going to get 2 cards from the top 3. Then, when you evolve from this, all of your opponent's Digimon in their security zone get -3 DP. DP is this number at the top. That's their attack power. So when you attack their security, you compare your security power, or your attack power, which for this is 1,000, against their security power. And if it is higher than theirs, your Digimon survives. If it's equal or lower, your Digimon is deleted. And so there's a risk reward of attacking security, but this is going to take 3k off of their attack power for the creatures that are flipped out of their security checks. So it's a pretty solid ability that's not super world changing. You are going to have to make a decision here. Kiaramon is your sort of build up. Shumon is your featured mon, but it has an on-play ability. So when you digivolve, you don't get to play on-play abilities, because on-play is when that stack first appears. So the Digimon that you start the stack with is the one that you play. Any cards that you put onto it, that you stack onto it, are digivolved. Some abilities will give you on-play or when digivolving, but unless it does that, it means play versus digivolve. So I might want to evolve Kiaramon here, or I might want to evolve this into Junkmon or something else and leave Shumon as the thing I play directly from my hand so that I can search the top 3 cards of my deck and fill my hand. Pawn Chessmon is another level 3. You'll see the other 2 evolved for 0. This one evolves for 1, but it can evolve from a yellow or a black Digimon. When you play it, you can trash a card with Puppet in your hand in order to draw 2 cards. So this is another good one to play for 3. When you have evolved from it, it gives Reboot, which is similar to Vigilance in Magic. It doesn't prevent you from tapping or suspending in the case of the Digimon terminology. When you are entering your opponent's unsuspend phase, you get to unsuspend your Digimon that have Reboot as well. So there's 4 of these guys. There's another Pawn Chessmon. So when deck building, the name is not the limitation, it's the set icon. So this is ST1904 and ST1905. That means starter deck 19, card number 4, and card number 5. Because they have different numbers there, They are different cards, even though they have the same name, and you can have 4 copies of each. This guy is another 3 and 1, and it's a blocker. So when you are attacked, you can declare attacks against your opponent's security. You can declare attacks against your opponent directly if they don't have any security, or you can declare attacks against any of your opponent's Digimon that are currently suspended. And if you have a Digimon with blocker that is unsuspended, when any of those things gets attacked, you can suspend your blocker to redirect the attack to the blocker Digimon instead of whatever the original target was. So this has blocker. It's not super strong, so it's probably going to die, but it does have an on-delete ability. So when it is deleted, you can trash 1 card that has the puppet trait in your hand to draw 2. Seeing a nice little synergy here of taking puppets in your hand, putting them in your discard pile to get more. All right, those are our level 3s. That's what we're going to start the game with for a lot of times, but moving on to level 4s, you have some options here too. This guy only costs 4 to play and 2 to evolve. All of our rookies here cost 3 to play, so he's not a lot more expensive if you just want to start your stack here. Digimon here has an on-play and an on-delete ability, so you might want to benefit from it by paying 4 to play it directly from your hand, but if you don't, you'll still get it when you delete. You get to give one of your opponent's security attack -1 until the end of their turn, which means that they check 1 fewer card. Now, as a default, all Digimon have security attack of 1. That's just sort of like how the game works. So any Digimon that has security attack -1 could theoretically attack your security, but it wouldn't do anything. Now, if you don't have any security, that Digimon can still attack you for the game, and that Digimon can still attack any of your suspended Digimon. But security attack -1 means that any number of security cards you have can't be broken by that Digimon for the turn. I like that this is an on-play and an on-delete. It's going to be repeatable, especially on such a cheap Digimon. Now we have Tobu Catmon. I believe this is the first card for Tobu Catmon in the Digimon game that's been out for a couple of years. This costs 5 to play, but 2 to evolve. It has jamming, which means that even if you would be deleted by having a Digimon that has the same or more DP as you, when you reveal it from a security check, you do not get deleted. You can still be deleted by other effects, like if somebody reveals an option card that would delete you, but you can't be deleted by just losing the fight. It also lets you have barrier. So Junkmon and Tobu Catmon are going to let you inherit barrier. Now, obviously, if you have Junkmon and Tobu Catmon in your inherited abilities, barrier is really only relevant once. And so there would be some redundancy there, but there are other abilities like as much as you can take away security attack, you can boost it. So if I had one Digimon that said security attack +1 as its inheritance, and then another inherited that said security attack +1, that would result in an extra 2 cards being flipped for 3 total on every security check. All right, there's 4 Tobu Catmon. I think most of these starter decks are a 4 of for everything except the sort of foil cards. There's probably a couple of exceptions as we get into the higher levels, but we're still on level 4 here. So Shushumon evolves from Shumon. This is a 6-play, 2 evolve. It has a security effect. So if this card is revealed as the security card when your security is attacked and they're checking against it, not only do they have to exceed 5,000 DP to survive, but you can play one card that has the Liberator trait and a play cost of 4 or less from your hand or trash without paying the cost. Now, so far, I believe the only card that fits that description in the deck is this Shumon. But say your opponent attacks your security, they reveal Shushumon, and you have a Shumon in your hand or in your discard pile called the trash. It costs less than 4, and it has the Liberator trait. So this is revealed as your security check. Then it goes to the trash, and its security effect brings back Shushumon. It plays it, and Shushumon has an on-play ability, so you get to do this. All of that happens as a result of your opponent attacking you. Now, Shushumon also has an ability called Overclock Puppet. This is a brand new ability made for this deck. So at the end of your turn, by deleting one of your tokens or other puppet trait Digimon, that Digimon may attack a player without suspend, or this Digimon may attack a player without suspending. So, on your turn, if you have any type of token or a Digimon that is specifically includes the trait puppet, you can delete them in order to get in a free attack that doesn't leave you vulnerable. It's pretty cool. This also does in all of your opponent's security Digimon get -3 DP as your inherited. So that's the exact same tech boxes here, and this is an example of ones that stack. So if these are stacked on top of each other, or in fact, if they are included inherited effects in two different Digimon, if each of these has something on top of it, they don't have to be in the same stack. On your turn, all of your opponent's Digimon would get -6 KDP instead of just -3 because there's two effects active. So it's a nice stacking ability there too. So 2 Shushumons in here. Then we're going to move into level 5, your ultimate Digimon. This is a 7,000 DP Digimon for a 6-cost play or a 3-cost evolve. And it has blocker and an on-delete ability. When it's deleted, you can play 1 level 3 Digimon with the puppet trait from your hand without paying the cost. Pretty solid. All of your level 3 Digimon are the 2 Ponchesmons, the Shushumon, or the Shumon and the Junkmon. So if you have any of those in your hand when this guy gets deleted, you get to play him on the field for free. And again, if you're playing this Ponchesmon or this Shumon, they both have on-play abilities that would activate them. There's 4 Pandamons there. Now we have X Tyrannomon. This is a yellow card, but also a green card. It costs 7 for a 7 KDP and 4 to evolve it. It evolves from yellow or green. And it also has a special evolution trait here. If you have a level 4 Digimon that has the name Tyrannomon or Raremon, it costs 3 to evolve from them. So that's even cheaper. Now, there aren't any of those in this deck, so it's not going to be relevant here, but you could put this card in a deck with those, and you'd be able to use them. This has Armor Purge as well, so when this Digimon would be deleted, you can trash this Digimon's top stacked cards, and it isn't deleted. So if X Tyrannomon is evolved from something, you get to take X Tyrannomon and put it in the trash, but keep the stack that was underneath it instead of trashing the whole thing. This also has Digicross, so if you have Tyrannomon or Raremon in the name, of one of your Digimon, you can take, it's got to be a level 4, and it has to have either Tyrannomon or Raremon in its name. Then you can take another level 4 that has a puppet in its traits, and you can put this onto the field with those 2 cards as its inherited cards, and you subtract 2 from its cost. So you can do all that for 3, I believe. And get this with two guys under it. Also, when you evolve onto this, you get Barrier. So you get 4 copies of that card. Now we're moving on to the featured Digimon's ultimate level. This is another new design called Chaperonemon. It's 7 for a 7 KDP or for 3-cost evolution. And when you play it, or when you evolve into it, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -3 DP for the turn. If there are 3 or more Digimon, it further gets another 3,000 DP. So you can reduce DP to 0 or less, and the Digimon would be deleted, very similar to reducing toughness in Magic. Then its inherited ability says on all turns, but only once per turn, when this Digimon would leave the battle area other than by your own effects, you can delete one of your tokens or another Digimon with the trait Puppet, and it doesn't leave. So this is sort of it redirecting deletion to something else, similar to the decoy ability of Junkmon, except in reverse. So there's 2 of those, and then we get to its mega form, which I believe will have 2 of these as well. So we're on to level 6. This is an 11 cost, 11k DP, or 3 to evolve. It's worth noting that in the memory system, you can only get up to 10. So in order to play this, you actually have to have 1 or more memory. If you have 0 memory, you cannot play this from your hand. You have to evolve it or just be out of luck. Because the evolve cost of 3, you just move it over 3, you're never going to make it to 10. But if you have 0 memory, you can't set their memory to 11, so you would just not be able to afford this. The costs can go higher than 11, so there are definitely times when you really, really don't want to be paying that and leaving your opponent with as much resource as they possibly can have on their turn. But, if you're in a really bad spot, you might choose to do it. And if you happen to end up with 0 memory on your turn, you would not be able to do that. So it's worth noting there's another little interesting sort of nuance to the memory system. So this has the overclock ability again. You can delete a token or another puppet Digimon to allow this Digimon to attack a player without suspending. And this happens at the end of your turn, so that's really lovely. Let's say you evolved into this when you were at 0 mana. 0 memory. You spent 3, so you set the memory counter to 3 on your opponent's side. The memory counter is now on your opponent's side, so your turn ends, which means at the end of your turn, overclock happens. So as your turn starts to end, but before your opponent gets to start their turn, your overclock ability gets to happen. Syndromon also has blocker. This is really cool. Good synergy with the overclock trait because you have to suspend to block. You also have to suspend to attack, but overclock allows you to attack without suspending. And you also have this Ponchesmon from earlier has reboot. So there's a couple of ways to make Syndromon able to attack freely while still being able to defend you. It also has a when digivolving effect. You can play 2 familiar tokens. So these are considered Digimon with yellow color, 3000 DP, and an on deletion ability. When you delete them, one of your opponent's Digimon gets negative 3000 DP for the turn. So this is another DP reduction effect, and because they are tokens, you can delete them with the overclock ability, nuke one of your opponent's Digimon, you can delete them and weaken one of your opponent's Digimon while attacking, and if that opponent's Digimon was at 3 or less 1000 DP, they will just get deleted. So pretty cool. And you'll notice a lot of level 6s don't have an inherited ability because most of the time that's the end of the line. The game does go up to level 7, but level 6 is your usual top out. Level 7 is extra credit. So there's 2 Syndromons. Your other level 6 is going to be Shin Manseimon. It's a puppet. Costs 12 for 12k DP. So same thing as earlier. If you have 0 or 1 memory, you cannot play this from your hand. You have to play the Digivolve cost or be out of luck. It does have an alternate evolution cost. If your Digimon has Manseimon or Numamon in its name, it costs 3 to evolve from it, from a level 5 of that. It has Armor Purge, so if it dies, you can remove this and keep the stack underneath it. And on play or when digivolving, by placing 1 level 5 or lower card with Numamon in its name, or the puppet trait from your trash, as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution card, you recovery +1. So, if you have a Numamon or a puppet trait Digimon, which every Digimon in this deck is puppet trait, so if you've got a level 5, your X-Tyrannomon, your Pandamon, or your Chaperonemon in the discard pile, you can place them under it as its bottom evolution card. So whatever stack you've built up gets that ability as well. And if you happen to play it, it can create an inherited ability for itself there too. Now you'll notice Pandamon, unfortunately, does not have an inherited ability. So you don't always get to build a beast. Some of these are simple enough that they just are a transition from stage 4 to stage 6. But that's not really what Pandamon is for anyway. It's got the blocker ability. So it has other uses, but this lets you sort of build a monster in an alternate way as well. All right, we're going to move into our tamers. So like I said, these are a little bit different than planeswalkers. They function a little bit more like enchantments, but they do represent characters from the movies, the TV shows, the games, or in this case, the comic. So this is Arisa Kinosaki. She costs 4 to play. She has a security effect that plays this card without paying the cost. So if you reveal her from security, you get her for free, or you can pay 4 to put her down onto the field from your hand. At the start of your turn, if you have 2 or less memory, set your memory to 3. And on your turn, when effects play any of your tokens or any puppet trait Digimon, you can suspend this tamer, and one of those Digimon gets rushed for the turn. So anytime a token or a puppet trait Digimon enters the battlefield, if she's not suspended yet, you can suspend her and give them the ability Rush. The ability Rush means they can attack the turn it's played. So in Digimon, like Magic, like Lorcana, there is summoning sickness. You cannot attack on the turn a card enters the battlefield unless an ability lets you do it. Rush is that ability in Digimon, and she's going to let them do that. So she's really enabling an aggro strategy here. You get 4 copies of her, which is pretty solid. Now we're going to go to the options. So options are like sorceries in Magic. The qualification for playing them is that you have to have a Digimon on the field or a tamer on the field that matches the color. So all the cards in this deck are yellow, although you have seen that some of them are yellow and black, and some of them are yellow and green. But as long as they have yellow as one of their colors, you can play this card. However, if you have no Digimon on your field, if you have no Digimon in your breeding area, and you have no tamers on the field, you cannot play an option card. So it's a rare occurrence, but it does happen. Anyway, so this is Noble Family Arts. For 5, you do the main ability here. One of your opponent's Digimon gets negative 6k DP for the turn. If there are 3 or more Digimon, it further gets another negative 6k DP. So this is a delete ability for almost anything. There's also a security effect. So when you pay 5 and play this, you do everything up here. Similar to your Digimon, this is what happens when you're playing it as the face. And when it is... when it's an option card or a tamer card, the inherit box on the Digimon is the security box for those. So that's telling you what to do when this is flipped up from security. And luckily, this just plays itself for free. So this is a particularly strong card. It's actually going to often be a little bit more useful because it plays for free from your security than in your hand, but it's really good in either one. We've got 4 copies of those. And, knocking over my camera. We have 2 copies of Yellow Memory Boost. That's the end of the deck. These are promo cards, so we'll talk about those in a second. Yellow Memory Boost is another option card, so you have to have a Digimon or Tamer on the field to play it. If you do, you can pay 3, and then you do your main ability, which is reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. You add 1 yellow Digimon card from among them to your hand and put the rest on the bottom of your deck. Then place this card in your battle area, because this has a delay ability. So cards with a delay ability, most option cards, you play them, you do the thing, and they go to your discard pile. But here, you have an option with a delay ability, so you play it, you do its thing, and then you place it in the battlefield area with your Tamers and your Digimon. Then, when this card has been on the field since the start of your turn, you can activate the delay effect. You trash it, so you take it from the field and put it in your trash. hence the delay. And when you do that, you gain 2 memory. And then finally, when this is flipped up from your security, you play it into the battle area. So you get to do the main ability, and you'll have the delay on your next turn. So that's the yellow deck. It is kind of an aggressive puppets deck. Every Digimon in it is a puppet, and obviously Arisa is going to enable your puppets to attack early and often. Centralmon and other Digimon in here are going to use the overclock ability to keep the pressure on your opponent, and the blocker ability to keep the pressure off of you. And you're going to have a couple of DP reduction effects to make your opponent's attacks worse, and or to outright trash their Digimon from the field. So it seems like a really fun deck to play. It is a starter deck, so it's not going to be the strongest deck you can have, but it's a good set starter. It's got a couple of cool new characters included in it that have not appeared in the game yet because they were literally just created this year. And you get these cool promo cards. So there's one for each color. They're different training cards. When I got my first decks, the promos were these memory boost cards with different art. I do like that this memory boost card has the art from the box for this deck. That's really fun. So let's find out what these training cards do. All of them have a play cost of 2, and there's one for each of the prime colors in the game. So the red one costs 2. As a main, you reveal the top 2 cards of your deck. You take one red card from among them to your hand and put the rest on the bottom of your deck. Then place this in your battle area. As a delay effect, one of your Digimon can digivolve into a red Digimon card in your hand with the cost reduced by 2. And for security, you place this into your training area. So this gets you cards and saves on memory. It's doing something similar to Yellow Memory Boost. The memory boosts all work the same. They just look for the specific color listed. So Yellow Memory Boost is going to look at 4 cards and allow you to take 1 Digimon card and bottom the rest. And then you can delay, remove it to gain 2 memory. This is only going to look at 2 cards, but it lets you take any card that fits the color. It does not have to be a Digimon. And then instead of increasing your memory, it reduces the cost to evolve by 2. So it's increasing your memory in a more limited fashion. So offensive training does that. I bet these are all going to do the same thing. Yep. So this one does the exact same thing. Look at the top 2, add a blue card, put the rest on the bottom, place this in the battle area. Then when one of your Digimon may evolve into a blue Digimon card in your hand with the Digivolution cost reduced by 2. This is the yellow one, physical training, agility training for green, defense training for black, and wisdom training for purple. Then you have 3 insert cards. These come with everything. These look a little bit different than the last time in that these are looking at specific rules for some of your cards. The ones in previous decks have had things like turn flow order and stuff like that, but you'll find that information on the back of the playmat. So they've turned the playmat into a little mini booklet on how to play the game, and you've got your turn order indicator on the playmat as well. So now these are here to help you learn how the abilities work. And that's the yellow deck for Digimon. I'll be going over the green deck soon. That video should be a little bit shorter because we'll be covering the cards, but I won't have as much to say about the game since I said it here. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're interested in the Digimon card game, check and see if your local game stores have Digimon Play. I know I don't believe any of my game stores here in Fort Collins, Colorado do, but I know that at least one of the game stores in Cheyenne, Wyoming does, and that is just about a 30-minute drive for me, so it's not too bad. I love the Digimon card game. There's also an unofficial online client where you can play, and there is an official Learn to Play app. So if you're curious about the game, you can look up the Digimon card game app on your phone. It's a limited selection of cards. And it is a series of on-rails tutorials. But once you've beaten the on-rails tutorials, I believe you have 3 decks that you can play against one another in free-ranging games. So that's a really great way to learn the game. It existed in one mode that represented the first 3 starter decks, and then when the ace cards came out, it exists in a new one. So actually, it might only have 2 decks available. I'm not sure, because the original set released 3 starter decks, and the ace set only had 2 starter decks. But if you want to learn how to play, it's hard to beat that app. It teaches you in step-by-step tutorials, and then you get a real feel for the game while having the computer sort of make sure that the game phases are passing in the correct way. And then if you're curious about playing in real life, as of the recording of this deck has become available very recently. And then there is the green deck that has also become available very recently. So this is a great way to get started on the Digimon card game. I hope you enjoyed learning about the game and or learning about the deck. And if you're interested in the card game, tell me what it is that grabbed your attention. If you already like the card game, if you already like Digimon, let me know which one of these cards you thought was the coolest or had the best art, etc. I'd just love to hear what appealed to you about this. So hit me up in the comments, and I will see you next time when we cover the green deck. Bye!